Hi, welcome back. You listen to Bob Mills on Saturday on Talk Radio, powered by the Times. Know your Times. And that is a little clip, a little bit of Sound of Sounds by Disturbed, which is the track I was talking to Frank Turner about, as my version of heavy metal. But then, of course, Frank's version of heavy metal is decidedly different. I am going to listen to Five Finger Death Punch when I get in. Is it Zombie Death Cult? What's the other? The Corpse Cult or something? That I'll give some of them a try. I have an idea that they may not be all to my liking.
I can recommend one if you'd like.
Van Connor is with us. Van, go on.
Austrian Death Machine, actually a metal band themed entirely around the cinema of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What are they called?
Austrian Death Machine.
Austrian Death Machine.
There's a great track called I Need Your Clothes, Your Boots and Your Motorcycle. I recommend that thoroughly.
You see, but you're never going to get and up from last week's number 25 to this week's number 2. It's Austrian Death Machine. It doesn't work like that, does it? But anyway, Van Connor's here, so of course the subject is film. And we're going to start off with Bombshell. Bombshell starring Charlize Theron, Nicole Kidman and Margot Robbie. When Gretchen Carlson slaps Fox News founder Roger Ailes with a lawsuit alleging sexual harassment, not a soul could predict what would happen next.
Well, there's about 2 hours worth of film next, to be honest, is the short version of that.
So tell us what this film is about.
Okay, so this is about the sexual misconduct scandals that rocked Fox News and led to the downfall of Roger Ailes, who had basically founded the idea of conservative news in America, who inadvertently gave the platform to, for instance, Donald Trump, who throughout the course of the true events depicted in the movie is not considered anywhere near a sure thing of getting into the presidency. They all sort of dismiss him as a joke. So that's going on in the backdrop, but also Trump sort of ignites what becomes this feud against women within Fox News. Largely seen from the perspective of Megyn Kelly, who's played by Charlize Theron, who's got like sort of makeup effects on, is just subtle enough to look completely different but still be recognisable. You've got Gretchen Carlson, played by Nicole Kidman, who gets sacked and then sues Roger Ailes personally. And we've also got a woman new to the organisation, played by Margot Robbie, who comes in as a sort of a young runner type and experiences a whole different element to the sexual climate of Fox News as she attempts to ascend her way up the ladder. I've got a clip for you of Charlize Theron's Megyn Kelly responding to how women can deal with complaints at Fox News.
They have a contractual right to monitor our communications. A hotline in this building is like a complaint box in occupied Paris. It's like we're telling women, go on, speak up for yourself. Just know the entire network is with Roger. No one will believe you. They'll call you a liar. Oh, and as for your career, you want assignments and airtime? Go ahead. Call the paranoid man who decides your salary a pervert, and do that on a anonymous hotline he controls. On a phone, he has a contractual right to record. Jesus Christ, do you think women are idiots? It's like somebody stripped you naked and they want you to walk through this office just to prove it.
It's fairly sharp, it's fairly acerbic. It very much has a point it wants to make. It's not been overly recognised by the Academy, despite expectations. It has gotten nominations for Best Actress for Charlize Theron, for Best Supporting Actress for Margot Robbie. I will say, in defence of those two as well, Charlize Theron, phenomenal. Margot Robbie, there is one scene in this movie, just her and John Lithgow as Roger Ailes. It's John Lithgow in a fat suit. Just one scene of just the two of them alone in a room that is one of the most disturbing things you will see on a screen this year, and she deserves
disturbing in a good way, in a powerful way.
Oh no, quite the opposite. But it's just played so note perfectly in a movie that otherwise has something of a wry sense of humour to it. Did you ever see The Big Short?
Yes.
Right. Imagine The Big Short for sexual misconduct in the Me Too era. That's what you've got here. It's even got the fourth wall breaking. It's directed by Jay Roach, who brought us the Austin Powers trilogy as well. So obviously it's got that slightly more satirical edge to it. It is a film I thought was absolutely tremendous. I genuinely thought was brilliant. One of the best films I've seen in the past 12 months. Unfortunately, it couldn't make my best of 2019 list because opens, as we can tell now, in January.
And so it's opened in Oscar season in the right sort of time for the Oscars, but it hasn't...
There's a writing nomination, I think, for it as well. I think it's got Best Adapted Screenplay, something like that. But it is largely for the hair and makeup and for the performances.
And has there been any complaints? Has anybody said, "Oh, isn't this terrible that this hasn't been..." Except, of course, well, hang on a minute. There are as many women, I'm sure, voters as there are male in the Oscars. I don't think it's a particular. I don't think there's ever been a complaint.
Actually, I do think there is something of a bias against Bombshell in that regard, because, like The Big Short, you've got a slight issue. In the case of The Big Short, you had a movie, no matter how well made or how well acted it was, that was asking you to sympathise with people who were banking on the financial collapse.
Yeah,
asking you to sympathise with these absolute deviants, these abhorrent people who are clearly going to profit from this great global catastrophe. What you've got here, in a sense, is something similar, where they are asking you to invest sympathy in people for Fox News, which, given that the film, puts the women first and foremost, you think, okay, that's an easy ask. However, for how democratic Hollywood is, for how liberal Hollywood is, a film that asks them to invest sympathy in the most conservative people broadcasting in the US, this side of InfoWars, asking them to put sympathy and empathy in front of Fox News, that is a big ask.
Yeah, because you're kind of saying, look, we know you hate these women,
but please feel for them.
But
at
look
least.
how they were mistreated. But maybe maybe that's one of the most powerful things about it. Then, is you say, okay, but if what happened to them was wrong, then it's wrong. Just because it's wrong. It doesn't matter who they are.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like I say, it's got a wry sense of humour, so there's enough levity in there, and I would have thought that would have skirted it past the liberal Democrat bias, problem thing we've got going on with the Academy and AMPAS. But if I start getting into all the snubs and everything for the Oscars this year, it's going to be a long, long conversation. The words Olivia Wilde leap immediately to mind. But
why won't Olivia Wilde not got?
Oh, no writing or directing Oscar nominations for Booksmart, which for me is the big travesty of the year.
Okay.
But also,
well, we could. I'll tell you what we'll do. Maybe when are the Oscars?
The Oscars are on the 9th. They're on Sunday, the early hours of Monday the 10th.
Well, on the Saturday before, we should have Connor in just to have a little moan about what won't be happening.
I mean,
unless of course you're not here at the time. Maybe you'll be in America. I don't know.
Oh no! Sadly, I'm sadly UK based this year. Last year, I flew in from New York to do it. It was great.
Okay, Just Mercy.
So, Just Mercy is a new film written and directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, who gave us Short Term 12 and The Glass House. Short Term 12 was great. Glass House was not. Glass House, though, and Short Term 12 both starred the now Oscar-winning actress Brie Larson, who won her Oscar for starring in the superb movie Room a few years ago with Jacob Tremblay. This is now her third project with Destin Daniel Cretton. She now plays a supporting role here. The primary is played by Michael B.Jordan, who is a young and experienced lawyer, stands for civil rights, wants to defend a man played by Jamie Foxx, who's on death row for a crime he clearly didn't commit. So there's obviously a racial bias against him. It's sort of a boilerplate To Kill a Mockingbird-ish legal drama, up to and including being set in the town from which To Kill a Mockingbird actually comes from, just in case it wasn't being subtle enough for you. I've got a clip of just what you can expect.
It is ordered, adjudged, and decreed that Walter McMillan is to face death by electrocution.
This is my dad, sir.
Sit down, young man.
John, I want you to sit down now.
He ain't do nothing wrong.
Please, Judge, hold on 1 second.
I won't say it again. Sit down.
Not if you gonna kill my dad for no reason. You killing my family, sir,
I saw this, and I saw this before Christmas, because Oscar season, you see everything in advance. And this is obviously quite clearly designed to be some kind of Oscar contender. And you can tell with the sort of pompous self-seriousness that it has about it. I've spent more than a month now trying to process my thoughts on why I didn't like this. And I had to go and check the Ofcom guidelines to make sure that I was allowed to say this about the film. But it's a basic bitch of a film. That's basically what it is. Everything about it is basic. It is a movie you come out of and think, well, congratulations, film. You're basic. That's what it is. Everything about it is the most boilerplate, templated, insert tab A into slot B here version of this film that you could get. Michael B. Jordan, an actor I know is phenomenal. I've seen both Creed movies. He's phenomenal in that. He managed to somehow be the best thing in that awful Fantastic Four movie they made a few years ago. Also, Fruitvale Station, things like that. Black Panther, just that. But you see him here, and he's there, and you can tell he thinks this is my best actor nomination for this year, or in the bag. He's like, no, actually, you ain't Gregory Peck, man. You're just spouting legalese. It's quite evident you don't know what a single word of this means. There's no emotional investment in this for you. It all just seems to be prolonged staring into the middle distance glares, and jaws kind of sat ajar with minorly trembly lips. The fact that this is set in the 90s is something I didn't even notice for the first third of the movie. It's that basic.
Now, that said, the one redeeming factor that I can see, and I've not seen it, but it's really in front of me, is that Rafe Spall's in it.
Oh, he is, isn't he? Yes, he's your...
What does Rafe do? Tell me he doesn't do an accent.
He does. He absolutely does. He's your token William Atherton role. Remember in the 80s, they always used to get William Atherton to play that same role. He's the health department guy in Ghostbusters, and he's in Die Hard as a reporter. He's your William Atherton here. That's who Rafe Spall is playing.
Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's an odd bit of casting, that's all, because I'm sure there is no shortage of Americans.
He did Jurassic World, didn't he? He was one of the villains in that recently.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
He's good, yeah. He's Tim Spall's kid, isn't he?
Yeah, of course he is.
Yes.
Tim's boy.
Tim's boy, there you go.
I believe that's not how he likes to be introduced, but Tim's boy. Now, Bad Boys for Life, 2020, come on.
Yeah, well, okay, so Bad Boys 3, Marcus and Mike.
No. Bad Boys for Life.
Uh-huh.
Not Bad Boys 3.
Bad Boy. Well, I'm saying it is Bad Boys 3, though. I know it's Bad Boys for Life.
It might be the third Bad Boys
for Life. Yeah,
but it's Bad Boys for Life.
Bad Boys for Life. Well, right. Do you know anything about this, by the way? Is that at one point they do sort of set up a sequel in this, and you sat there thinking, well, why wasn't it then Bad Boys number 4 Life? Like, you could have saved that title. It's ridiculous to me. It's it's one of those things. It's like why they didn't call the movie Two-Lander or Two-Mandy. Why they waste these titles? I'm giving you gold for free here, people. I don't work in their marketing department. So, Bad Boys for Life. Marcus Burnett, Mike Lowry, the original buddy cops of the 90s are back. It's now the third go around. Marcus is looking yet again at retirement. Mike just wants to keep his youth going. He becomes the target of a South American assassin and his cartel leader mum, and it falls to he and Marcus and utilizing the aid of a new band of sort of millennial cops. They're called Ammo, and they're plugged into CCTV and Wi-Fi and all this this stuff that the kids are into.
I think you'll find they're an elite team.
Oh, they're an elite team.
They're an elite team.
As far as the film is concerned, they are literally just the millennials. Okay, that's it. It's just Will Smith and the millennials. That's how they see this movie. Vanessa Hudgens is one of them. I couldn't really name any of the others. I've got a clip for you of Marcus and Mike using their old school tactics.
So we just gonna do a knock and talk. What? Hey, look, all our lives we've been bad boys, all right? Now it's time to be good men. Who in the hell wanna sing that song? Good man, what you gonna do? Well, maybe if you sing the song like you meant it, it'll catch on. No. Knock and talk. Yeah, knock, knock.
Mike, get down! I need you on your knees with your hands behind your head right now.
It's more of the same, but I would argue a little bit more fan-friendly, definitely than the last one was.
That was a nice bit of banter they were having.
Yeah, it is a bit.
Banter.
Do you ever see these movies before?
Yes, I would have seen certainly the original one.
That's what I mean. I think the first is immeasurably stronger than the second because the second sort of ditches the comedy in favour of the action element. This finds the happy medium place of it needs to be 50% comedy, 50% action. That is what an action comedy does, and this does it really well. It's very obvious that the new directors, a pair of young Belgian filmmakers who have taken over from Michael Bay on this one, it's quite obvious that they are big fans of the first movie. There's a lot of callbacks to it. There's a lot of thematic and tonal kind of callbacks to it. It noticeably is more character-based. The plot is derived more from character this time, rather than the second movie, which is a lot more procedural, and it emphasises the comedy with that as well. I mean, there's even sort of reprisal of Mark Mancina's rather kick-ass movie theme song from the first one. I had a good time with it.
It's well relaxed in it because Will can get very heavy.
This is the character Will Smith was born to play.
Good.
And it's obvious his entire career has been built upon this role from the first one.
I mean, he's very good in all the other things he does, but sometimes it's like, all right, well, come on.
I mean, I do remember Bag of Ants. I think most people have forgotten that ever happened. But
And what was the other? What was that? Was Happiness? Happiness. Was
The Pursuit of Happiness, a movie that would ironically make you want to take your own life. Yeah, I always remember £7 because it damn sure cost a lot more than £7 to see a movie that awful. But yeah, don't worry about this one though. Will's got this. Even Martin Lawrence is kind of good in it. Worth seeing. If you're a fan of them, you're going to see it anyway. But if you're looking for a good action comedy, see it regardless. Even if you don't know the series, just go and see it. It's not particularly continuity driven. It's a good time.
Excellent. So, before the Oscars, should we do that? Should we have a little rundown?
I think we should, you and I.
Who's doing what?
I think we could bash out a good Oscar.
Or what
chapters.
shouldn't be done? Who shouldn't be in there?
Who shouldn't be in there?
Do you know what I mean? You were saying you're already too angry.
Well, I mean, to argue with people who shouldn't be there. Anybody involved with Joker who isn't named Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay.
Or Hilda Goodison. But, Goodison Deer, I think her name is. But other than the composer and the central performance, there should be nothing of Joker in the Oscars. I don't know what is wrong with these people, but yeah. What can you say? We live in a society.
If you get a chance, keep your eye on Talking Pictures because on their loop at the moment, they seem to have So Long at the Fair. So Long at the Fair is watch it. Don't look into it.
Don't look into it.
Don't read anything about it.
Right.
It's called So Long at the Fair. You put it on, you think, oh, Millsy, what are you doing? It's a poxy old black and white film where a bloke and his sister go and visit the Great Exhibition in Paris in 18. Oh, wow, this is going to be exciting.
This
and
is a big
at the
moment.
end of it, you will think, oh my God.
This is a big moment for us, Bob. This is your first film recommendation to me, so this is a big bonding moment for us.
So Long at the Fair. Van Connor, bless your heart. Lovely to see you.
Across the UK, online and